Alright, welcome back to episode 2 of Visual Novel Mondays. Um, so right here I am showing the wheel of visual novels that I have currently left to play. I didn't show it the first time because I didn't think of it at the time. I said it in the intro, but I didn't really show it being rolled. But this time I will. So all I need to do is click, and then we'll see what we're playing next, and then we'll cut straight away to that. So here we go. A warmer shade of summer. Okay. This will be interesting. I've seen this game before. I don't remember what the playtime was, like on average. But yeah, this is what we got, so let's cut straight to the game. A game by 52.6 Productions. That is kind of loud. Okay, this one has voice volume as well, but I'm really hoping that there actually is, like, voices. Because in Killer Love, they had the voice volume, but there were no voice lines, so it didn't really make any sense. So here we are in a warmest shade of summer. This definitely looks like a college student made this game. Like, that's not to give offense or anything, it just looks like a school project. That definitely sounds offensive. I don't know. I'm being too critical and I haven't even started yet. So let's get straight to it. Hey, kid, wake up. Huh? What? I awoke to the empty interior of a public bus. Just an hour ago, this thing had been packed full of people, but now the only person left was the bus driver and me. Last stop is in 5 minutes, better get your stuff together. Oh, right. I guess I must have dozed off. Hello? Anyone in there? I looked up at the bus driver. The old man's eyes were fixed on the road, but I could still make out his face in the rearview mirror. Hey kid, you got a name? My name? I'm pretty sure I have one of those. Oh, do I type this out? There we go. It's DragonHorseBird on YouTube. Subscribe, please. Well, DragonHorseBird. It's gonna be annoying to say, actually. Whatever, I typed it out, I don't care. Well, DragonHorseBird, I sure hope you didn't sleep through your stop. For a second, I felt a wave of panic shoot through me. Wait, the last stop on this route is still Somerset, right? Yep. I let out a sigh, then checked my pockets to make sure I had all my essentials. My phone and wallet were still right where I left them. I looked at my wallet to make sure no one had made off with anything while I had been asleep. Bro, it's $200? Not bad. What brings you this far out? I'm visiting my grandfather's farm. He died a few weeks ago, and the farm was left to my family and his will. I'm sorry, kid. Always a shame when you lose a family member. So, you're heading out there all by yourself? Shouldn't you be in school or something? The college term just let out for the summer. Ah, right. I can never keep track of when they let the hooligans out to run amok. What's it you're studying at university? Chemistry? Huh? Chemistry? What are you planning on doing with that? That's crazy. I hope to get a job after graduation. Pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, something like that. I can never get my head around any of that egghead stuff. So you're all on your own? No mom or dad to deal with this kind of stuff? They said there were too many emotions buried out on that farm. They didn't want to soil the old memories of family vacations from long ago. So what's your plan? Wait, that's the wrong your. Okay. So what's your plan once you get up there? Someone has to see what... Oh. Someone has to see to what's left of the old property, and hopefully I can find someone who will buy the land off their hands. Fuck. This dialogue is like kind of messy, I'm not gonna lie. And it just started, so we'll see. Someone has to see what's left of the old property, and hopefully I can find someone who will buy the land off our hands. What? Buy it? That place was part of your childhood. You want to throw it all away for a handful of cash? Well, we thought that would be better than letting the old place just waste away. The bus driver let out a sigh. It's a shame the only thing you youngsters care about nowadays is money. None of us said a word for the remainder of the trip. I mean, you can't really judge a family for what they want to do with their own land, you know? If they want to sell it, that's on them. It's not anybody else's decision in that matter, so... A few minutes later, the bus came to a stop. It was too dark to make out anything past the headlights. You take care, kid. Somerset has a way with people. Some people set out to find out who they are. Some people set out to change who they are. But Somerset tends to show you who you were all along. I stepped off the bus into the darkness, one hand on my phone and the other on my suitcase. I wonder what he meant by that. I sure hope I remember the way. I followed the dirt trail that led into town until I reached the crossroads. I shined my flashlight up to the worn wooden sign that labeled each direction of the crossroad. North, Somerset Beach. South, Somerset Bus Stop. West, Somerset. East, Esther Farm. Wait, what? Having a sign that just says Somerset and it's just so vague and confusing. What? It's a pointless sign. At least have some sort of description. I like this piano. It's actually really nice. I guess I'm headed east. I followed the dirt pathway for a few minutes until I reached the dilapidated wooden fence that marked the outskirts of the property. I opened the small gate that leads into the farmstead and hurried towards the main house. Even with my flashlight, it was still impossible to see much of anything, but I could make out the black silhouette of the farmhouse. I made it for the house and fumbled around until I found the door. Oh, right, the key. I opened my suitcase and took out the envelope that held the deed to the property and a small metal key. With the key in hand, I unlocked the door and fumbled around for the lights. The old house hasn't changed much since I was a kid. 2 bedrooms, a decent kitchen, and a bathroom. Compared to my college dorm, it was a mansion. There's not much I can do until the sun comes up. I rolled my suitcase into the master bedroom and fell face first into the mattress. I guess I'll head into town tomorrow. And with that, I fell asleep. Okay. Huh. I like these title sequences. Is that... Huh? Someone's at the door? I let out a long yawn and climbed out of bed. I made for the door. As it opened, to my surprise, I met a familiar face. Huh? Eli? Wait, DragonHorseBird? Is that you? Yeah, you should subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna do that anymore. It must have been 10 years since I'd last seen Eli. He was one of those friends you make on summer vacation, but never stay in contact with after the break ends. We used to get into all kinds of trouble when we were kids. Eli, jeez, it's been years. What are you doing here? Oh, well, last night I was parked on the side of the road and I saw lights on the property. I thought that was mad suspicious, so I came here to investigate. Oh, well, that was me. What are you doing on the side of the road that late at night? Oh, well, I'm currently a bit home insolvent at the moment. Home insolvent? Are you saying that you're homeless? Huh, well, more or less. My folks kind of kicked me out. But enough about me. Are you here all by yourself? That's Eli, alright. Life washed off him like a bro. What is this saying? I don't even know what this saying is. That's Eli, alright. Life washed off him like water off a duck. I never heard that before. Yeah, after Granddad died, we decided to sell the property. That's why I'm here. Man, this place is part of Somerset's history, you know. This farm... Okay, the improper grammar here is actually kind of throwing me off. I have to, like, interpret it when I'm reading it. This farm's been here since, like, before I was born. Who are you planning on selling it to? Not some big corp who'll pave it over and turn it into a shopping mall, I hope. Well, it's not like that. I was hoping to sell it to a local. Ha, I knew you were a good guy. Say, how long are you in town for? Oh, all of summer probably. That's perfect. Perfect? Yeah, you see, I was actually talking to your granddad about renting out the garage to me. Before he, well... My granddad was going to rent you living space? Hey man, I'm good for it, and apparently the old guy needed the cash. Granddad has money issues? That's news to me. So what do you say? I can pay you up front for the 3 months you'll be staying here. I don't know. Eli has always been a troublemaker. Ah, come on, man. I can see you mulling it over in that big head of yours. For old time's sake. This motherfucker just called me a big head? Cash up front? Okay. Wait, really? This motherfucker's like second questioning me. I just said okay. Accept it. I mean... I knew you wouldn't let an old friend like me hang out to dry. This guy, man. Not to mention when that friend comes bearing the gift of a big old wad of cash. Eli then pulled an envelope from his back pocket and handed me a few $100s in worn, ragged bills. You can always use some more spending money, especially in Somerset. 2,200? Bro had $2,000. Huh? What do you mean? Ah, come on, man. Don't tell me you never noticed when we were younger. Somerset's always been a big hit with all the city girls, especially during summer break, and there's nothing city girls appreciate more than a guy with a full wallet. I'm not so sure about that. Alright, dude. Give me a minute, I'll pull my truck in and start unloading my stuff. Hey, this is the picture from the title, or not the title screen, it's like the banner on Steam. Eli then walked off the porch and took off down the dirt road. A few minutes later, he pulled in a... Why am I not surprised he has a red pickup? A few minutes later, he returned in a big red pickup, which he parked in a gravel driveway. The back of the truck was covered in a big blue tarp. Clearly all of his worldly possessions were in the back. Alright dude, I'll start unpacking and don't worry, I earned my keep. I'll make sure the garage is nice and cleaned up. One thing I forgot to mention, privacy is kind of a big deal for me. So if I stay out of your space, you'll stay out of mine, right? I guess I don't have a problem with that. Ha, you're a good guy, DragonHorseBird. You should head into town. When you get back, I'll have this unloaded and the place is all oh my god, the place a bit spiffed up. Bro, who talks like this? Who the fuck talks like this, bro? It's pissed me off. You should head into town. When you get back, I'll have this unloaded and the place a bit spiffed up. You don't need any help? Nah, bro. You're new to this whole landlord thing, but I'll give you some advice. You're not supposed to be helpful to your tenants. What? You're supposed to be a major league bummer. What? Ah, I'm just kidding, man. I got this. Eli is just as headstrong as when we were kids. I'll meet you in town when I'm done with all this. Well, okay. Try not to burn the place down when I'm gone. Ah, jeez, you don't have to worry about me. I walked down the dirt pathway and out the wooden gate. After a few minutes, I reached the crossroad and headed west into town. The dirt pathway soon transformed into a paved road of flagstones. The city center of Somerset hadn't changed much since I was younger. Pearly marble fountain in the center of town, the great classical architecture of the Somerset Bank, the old-style general store where Eli and I would buy sodas and ice cream on hot days, and of course, all the local houses which had still retained their old-fashioned architecture. However, not everything was the same. On the corner of the main street, there was a trendy bar that seemed it would fit more in line with the nightclubs of the city than a small town like Somerset. DragonHorseBird, is that you? I turned to face the source of the noise. It was a man standing in front of the bank. He looked only about a few years older than me. Ha, it is you. Oh, I'm sorry, do I know you? I suppose you were too young to remember me, but I remember your family well, especially your grandfather. When I was a teenager, I used to work for him, helping on the farm during harvest season. You knew my grandfather well? Yes. It was a shame, really, to lose such an icon of our community. Your grandfather was as much a part of the town as the bank, or the beach, or the old general store. So, are you back in Somerset to settle his affairs? I nodded my head. So what do you plan to do about his debts? What? Debts? Oh, I guess you didn't know about that. Your grandfather owed a substantial amount of money to the bank, and unfortunately due to the nature of the loans, the collateral will fall upon his next kin, you and your family. Collateral? How much did he owe you? Well, I didn't handle his account personally, so I don't know the exact figure, but yes? Well, word does tend to travel in a small town like Somerset. Last I heard, it was close to $100,000. What? $100,000? There's no way we can pay it off. I'm sorry to say that any overlap will result in the bank seizing any remaining assets to make up the loss of income. Wait, are you saying the bank will take the farm? Well, that's where it gets more complicated. Your grandfather had 2 mortgages on his property, not associated with our bank, and the amount tied up in those agreements is actually greater than the value of the property. We would actually lose money if we seized the property. So, if we don't pay it back, the bank will be forced to seize other assets. Other assets? The property your family owns in the city. What? Is that how that works? I don't think that's how that works, but I don't know shit about this. Our house? I couldn't believe my ears. How could all of this have happened without us even knowing? How long do we have to pay out the debt? The lion's sum of the debt needs to be paid at the end of the summer. I began to feel faint as a bitter twist knocked into my stomach. I didn't even remember walking back to the farm. I stumbled back onto the front porch. $100,000. What am I gonna tell my folks? I heard shuffling through the closed garage door and went around back to the side door. Oh, you're back so soon. I thought we were gonna meet in town. Whoa, hey man, you okay? What's going on? You don't look so good. I just heard. What, man? What happened? My grandfather. He owes a lot of money to the bank. A ton? Like how much? $100,000. What? How did that even happen? Did he have like major league gambling issues or something? I don't know, but I gotta find a way to make the money, or the bank will seize everything. Can't you just sell the farm like you planned? Apparently, Granddad had 2 mortgages on his place, No one in their right mind would buy this place. How long do you have? The end of summer? Ha! Ha 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 ha. Okay, I ain't laughing, bro. Has Eli lost it more than me? Probably. This whole thing, dude, me and you, it's like destiny or something. Destiny? Yeah, fate. You and I will run the farm. Run the farm? We can fix this place up. We'll plant some crops. The growing season's just started. Eli's voice was filled with optimism. Okay, why is it will instead of wheel? It's supposed to be W-E''L''. Why is it will? Is it like a translation thing, or is it just like not correct? Because they also had the wrong your, so I don't know. We'll figure this thing out together. You think we can grow $100,000 worth of crops? Hey, I didn't say it would be easy. DragonHorseBird and Eli Farm. I like the sound of that. This is crazy. Yeah. A crazy good idea. I began to feel dizzy. I don't... Ah, jeez, man. Eli caught me as I began to stumble. Hey, man, you should lay down. Eli spent the rest of the day unpacking his stuff into the garage. I thought about calling my parents, but I didn't think it would do any good. Is it kinder to tell them now or later? I guess they deserve a few days of summer before I tell them we're destitute? What are the... Okay. There's like a mix between weird dialogue choices and big words. I'm sure destitute is not really a big word, but I don't know this word. So I think it's a big word. Call me dumb all you want, but I don't know this fucking word, bro. Maybe Eli is right. Together we might have a shot at pulling something off. I sat down in bed. I guess I really don't have the answer. What a first day. What the fuck? That didn't even last that long, too. All he did was just like, what? He ran into Eli. He unpacked his stuff, actually. We went to town, got told we have debt to pay off, went back home, and then like went to sleep or something, and that was it? That's a short ass day. Is it morning already? I guess I better find Eli. See? What? I guess I'd better find Eli. The proper wording here is just not it. Oh, hey boss. What's the plan for today? Does the general store still sell seeds? Yeah, last time I checked. Wait. Does that mean we're actually gonna do this? I nodded my head. Ah, just you wait. With a little elbow grease, we'll turn this place around in no time. Also, this doesn't even look like a farm. I don't know if it's just me, but it just looks like a regular house. I don't know. Maybe I'm too traditional with how farms should look like. I don't know what modern farms look like, so I guess I can't judge. And with that, he outstretched his hand. I guess there's no turning back now. I took his hand with my own. We shook on it. Partners till the end. And there's the title screen, A Warmer Shade of Summer. So, if we're gonna be partners, I think it's only fair you get to sleep in the guest bedroom. What? Really? I already set up my futon and everything. You sure? I'm sure. I'm kinda glad. Your grandpa was storing all sorts of weird stuff in there. Big glass flasks and beakers, fertilizer, big bottles of iodine. I was afraid I'd get a disease in there. Iodine? Oh yeah, he used to mix that in with the fertilizer. He claimed it increased the yield of his crops. But all the glassware, that must have been from when he was still working for the chemical plant. That stuff must be ancient. Well, in that case, there's something I need to get off my chest. I haven't been completely honest with you. Remember how I said I wanted privacy? Well, that wasn't completely true. I used to sell a little... Yeah? Weed. Just on the side. You know, just to make a little cash. When my folks found out, they kind of flipped. That's why they kicked me out. I was afraid if you saw my plants, you'd, well... Somehow I'm not really that surprised. I was actually thinking that too. So you don't care? I have lived in a dorm before. It's not exactly a foreign concept to me. Eli let out a sigh. That's a relief. You never know when someone might have a stick up... Okay. That's a relief. You never know when someone might have a stick up their rear about that stuff, you know? This is the wrong there. Okay, I'm gonna criticize everything now. This dialogue is starting to piss me off. But hey, you never told me you went to college. What did you study? I'm not actually done yet, but I was studying chemistry. Dude, that's perfect. You can use your Major League Brainiac skills to grow like super crops. They'll sell like twice as much. I didn't have the heart to tell Eli I didn't think my skills would translate to farming that easily. So your Gramps was a chemist too. Is that why you went to study it? I guess I never thought about it like that. Maybe. He used to tell me about all the stuff he would manufacture at the old plant. Geez, that place shut down like a few decades ago. Your Gramps really was a, well, Gramps. I mean, it's in the name. Kind of implied, isn't it? So, how should we start? I guess I need to head into town and buy some seeds. Then I'll scope out the property and start clearing out a patch of dirt for us to grow on. I nodded my head and left Eli to his work before starting down the dirt path to town. As I arrived into town, the streets were desolate. I guess it's too early for anyone else to be awake. I headed towards the general store, and the door opened with a satisfying ring from the small bell attached to the top. The general store had everything a person in a small town could need. From food and drink, to cleaning products and toiletries, candies, pastries, there was a little something for everyone. I spotted the small rack that held a variety of garden seeds. I wonder what my granddad even grew. More importantly, I wonder who he sold it to. Can I help you find anything? Wait, DragonHorseBird, is that you? My, it feels like just yesterday that you and little Eli would come in here, the quarters you stole from the fountain, to buy candies and sodas. But I'm rambling like an old hag now. Can I help you find anything? Did my grandfather buy seeds from you? Oh, yes, and I would always buy his summer watermelons. They were always our most popular product this time of year. There should be some on the shelf in the back. Thank you. I turned to find the rack of seeds and began to browse through the various selection. Isn't it supposed to be selections with an S at the end? I don't know, bro. I turned to the sound of the door opening. A woman walked in and strolled past me without a passing glance, turning down the aisle. Oh, Lyra back again so soon? Lyra. I turned to look at her. I almost didn't recognize her. She turned to face me and I looked back at the packet of seeds, pretending to read the label. I don't think she recognized me. Then I remembered. I remembered the last time I saw her. And the wave of guilt rolled over me. I wonder if she... I pulled as many watermelon seeds off the rack as were available and headed for the counter. Lyra was already checking out her items. She turned to face me. Do I... Wait. DragonHorseBird, is that you? Lyra, it's been 10 years? I don't think I've seen you since I was a kid. Must be. So what are you doing back in Somerset? You know, just getting away from it all for a few weeks. My job can be stressful. It's nice to have a little time to oneself. I nodded my head. And you? I heard about your granddad. He was a good man. I assume you're here to settle his affairs. Yeah. All by yourself? Too many memories for the folks. She glared at the cumbersome pile of seeds in my arms. And now? I never took you for a farmer. I'm actually a chemistry student. But I'm trying out a new hobby. The clerk cleared her throat, and Lyra turned and paid with a few bills. Lyra picked up her items and slipped them into her purse. It was nice to see you again. She hurried for the door almost a little bit too quickly. And with that sound, she was gone. The clerk cleared her throat again. Oh, sorry. The old lady calculated the price by hand with a small pencil and notebook. I paid her $100 worth of seeds? Jesus Christ. I was looking at I was too distracted by the money count here. Oh my god. I paid her with the few of the ragged bills Eli had given me, and picked up the bag of seeds. Have a nice day. I made my way back to the farm to find Eli hard at work, hoe in hand as he continued to dig at the earth. Hey man, you got the seeds? I nodded my head. Cool. I dug around the garage and found your granddad's old tools. He handed me a shovel. Let's get working. Why is bro wearing a black jacket when it's sunny out? Guy's crazy. Eli and I spent the rest of the day working, and from the fruits of our labor, we managed to cobble together a small patch of planted watermelon seeds. Man, I'm pooped. Who would have thought that farming would be so manual? I'll see you in the morning. We have another big day ahead of us. Eli and I parted ways to our own separate rooms. I fell face first into bed. What a day. My legs ached. My hands were covered in newly earned blisters. Lyra. I wonder... I couldn't keep my eyes open. This place. I remember. Hey, DragonHorseBird, can I play with you guys? No, get away. We don't play with stupid girls. Come on, let's get out of here. But she never did leave us alone. Now that I think about it, I don't think she had any friends back in those days. Hey, DragonHorseBird, I got you this. I remember she was blushing when she handed them to me. One was strawberry, the other was vanilla. Ha ha ha, your girlfriend brought you ice cream. Shut up, she's not my girlfriend. I remember I blushed too. I can totally see it in your face. You like her. Shut up, I do not. I remember picking up the sand. I bet you want to kiss her and everything. I remember her running away, crying. DragonHorse... Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying my name, because it's getting actually really tiring to say. Hey, did you throw sand at Lyra's face today at the beach? No? Who told you that? Her mother called and said she came home crying. Whatever, she's just a dumb girl. It's not my fault she's a big crybaby. Hey, you're going to apologize to her the instant you see her. I never did see her again after that. Not until today. Did I really never apologize? That's kind of fucked up, yo. But then again, they were kids, so I don't know. Time to get up. As I made my way outside, Eli was already hard at work. What should I do? Oh, is it a choice? Just turn in for the day? Does it matter? I'm gonna make a save just to see. Uh, let's weed the patch. I spent the next hour pulling out the various weeds that seemed to spring endlessly in every direction. Eli and I had just weeded this area yesterday, but in no time at all, a new layer of dandelions, white clovers, and chickweeds had begun to pollute the small watermelon patch. Oh, it's not even a choice, it's just like things to do. Okay. I decided to start a completely new patch of watermelons. If we wanted to make any real money, we're going to need to scale up production. I started by clearing out the larger shrubs and a few head-sized rocks. I tiled the open area and began to hoe out the holes for the seeds. After a few hours, I had the whole patch tiled out and began to plant the seeds. With a small tilt from the watering can, I left the seeds to germinate. I headed over to where Eli was working. Hey man, nice morning, right? Even if it's a one-sided town. What? One-horse town? What does that even mean? Even if it's a one-horse town, Somerset will always have its oceanside moorings to balance everything out. I suppose. So, what are you up to? I started working at another patch. I tiled and hoed it already, but while I was digging, I found this. He gestured me towards a small hole he had dug up about an inch deep. Getting down on all fours, he brushed away a thin layer of dirt to reveal the smooth face of a massive rock. Damn, that thing's massive. Yeah, it would take a forklift to get it out. Do you think we should just start a new patch and ignore the spot? If we dig it out, maybe you and me can pull it out together. You're the boss, boss. What is that line, bro? We started by digging out the edges of dirt around the rock until only the solid mass was left in the hole. Okay, let's try to lift it. We both clambered into the hole and got... What are these words? Clambered? Who says this? We both clambered into the hole and got a solid grip on the rock. Okay, ready? 3, 2... Wait. Do you lift with your knees or your back? Knees. Okay, got it. 1, go! We pulled as hard as we could, but the rock didn't budge. Jeez, I think the only thing that moved was the disc in my back. There's gotta be a better way. Can't you use, like, mad chemistry skills to build, like, a bomb or something to blow it up? I think a few of the locals might take issue with that. So you're saying you can build a bomb? I thought it was best not to answer that question. I've got a better idea. I climbed out of the hole and rushed back to the side of the garage where several 2x4s had been sitting. I grabbed 2 of them and hurried back to Eli. Here's what we do. We use these planks as jacks. That way we can put all of our weight into lifting it. That's genius. That's like some physics stuff right there. We both took our 2x4s in hand and jacked them as deep as we could under the rock. Ready? I nodded my head. We pushed with all our weight into the planks, and the rock began to lift up. Just a little more. We leveraged the rock against the wall of the hole, and with all our might, managed to push it up. Eli wiped the sweat off his brow. Man, let's hope we don't have to do any more of these. And we turn in for the day. That's enough work for one day. After another day of back-breaking work, Eli and I turned in for the day. It's going to be another hard day of work tomorrow. Best turn in early. Day 4. Damn, we're already 4 days in? I've only been recording for under an hour. Morning. Dude, you gotta wake up. My eyes shot open. Eli? Get out here now, man. I rushed outside to find Eli staring over our tirelessly tilled earthworks. All our work, dude. Down the tube. Then I saw it. Our carefully cultivated earthworks had been completely dug up. All the seeds were gone, and what small germlings we had were nowhere to be seen. Something must have gotten into the patch and ate all the seeds. Something? I don't know. Rats or something? All that work for nothing. It was like the only 2 days of honest labor I ever did, and all for nothing. We have to start over. Start over? Come on, man. I think it's time we called it. We were never gonna sell 100 grand in melons before the end of summer. We can't just do nothing. Eli let out a sigh. I guess you're right. He picked up his tools and got back to work. I guess I'll have to go back into town and get more seeds. I made my way back into Somerset and towards the general store. Why Somerset, not capital? I pushed the front door open. Back so soon? I feigned a half smile. Just need a few more things. I began to look through the rack of seeds. Maybe a different type? Who am I kidding? Eli is right. There's no way I can grow 100 grand in crops in 3 months. I'm screwed. I let out a sign. Sign? Isn't it sigh? This is like that one part in Killer Love when when Jack was writing in the dark, so it was like mispronouncing words or like misspelling them. But this is just happening throughout the whole fucking game. So it's even worse. I let out a sigh and put the seeds back. As I turned to leave, I knocked over a small bottle of cleaning solution. I picked it up. Nail polish remover. Nothing more than diluted acetone. I bet the guy who thought of this is rolling in it. Out of sheer aimlessness and desperation, I began to browse the aisles of the store in search of some answer. I came across a bag of tea leaves on one of the shelves. Mormon tea? I realized I said that aloud. Something wrong? Oh, nothing. I think I've heard of this stuff. Oh, yes, very popular with some of the locals. They grow it at a local farm a few miles up the road. Some of the locals don't like to drink coffee, so they drink this stuff instead. I read about it in a textbook. It's from a plant, a shrub. Ephedra distichia? I think it's called... It has... Okay, these words are so confusing, bro. These are just like scientific terms that I don't know. I think it's called... It has ephedrine in it. I hope I'm saying this right. I'll probably give the correct pronunciation in the, like, post-editing.
Ephedrine.
What? It's your natural stimulant. They used to put in all sorts of stuff. Workout powder, energy drinks. Until it was used. Then I got an idea. A very, very bad idea. $100,000? In 3 months? I returned to the small shelf of all the cleaning supplies. I picked up 4 bottles of acetone solution and brought them over to the counter. DragonHorseBird? Okay, that's how I had to say it. I jumped at the sound of her voice, like I had thought someone had already caught on with what I was thinking. Oh, Lyra. Hey. You okay? Yeah, just a busy day ahead of me. Hey, so, sorry about running off on you the other day. I was just a little surprised to see you, that's all. Yeah, me too. So, listen, I was thinking maybe you should hang out sometime. Catch up on the lost years? You got a phone, right? Before I could respond, Lyra had retrieved her own cell phone from her purse and handed it to me to enter my number. I entered it with a few clicks before handing it back to her. The clerk cleared her throat. Oh, right, sorry. I placed the bottles on the counter and pulled out my wallet, placing some more of the ragged bills on the counter. That's $100 worth of nail polish cleaner? That's crazy, bro. Must be lonely on that farm all by yourself. Actually, you remember Eli? How could I forget? We're actually sort of roommates right now. You two under the same roof? You're liable to burn the place down. She began to eye the bottles of acetone I was buying. Have you given up on farming so quickly? The half-truth spilled from my mouth before I even realized I was saying it. We use it to clean all the machinery in the farm. Tractors, engines, motors, that kind of stuff. I guess you really are a chemist or something. Or maybe just a really good janitor. I picked up the bag that held my items. I better get going, before Eli burns down the property. I turned to leave. Hey, DragonHorseBird. I turned back. See you around. I rushed back to the farm. Hey man, you get more seeds? No. No? Don't tell me you're out of money. You were right, Eli. We can't grow 100 grand worth of crops. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I just said that because I was all flustered, you know? But for sure we won't get anywhere without seeds. Eli, you said you sold weed on the side, right? Well, sure, 4 or 5 times, but I never made it a habit. Who did you sell it to? Why? Is someone asking about me? Humor me. Just like a guy I knew. He was a friend of a friend from high school. What was your biggest score? Listen man, there's no way we can grow a pot out here without someone noticing. Just answer the question. Like a few grand once, but it took me a month to grow that amount from my little shrubs. Did he buy more than just weed? Why? Come on man, work with me. He was a distributor. He sold everything under the sun, and then some. How much do you think we could get for something a little harder? Harder? Like how much harder? Okay. Methamphetamine. Oh wait, that's just meth. I just realized. I never said the full name before. What? Methamphetamine? Meth? Like crystal? Are you crazy? You said it yourself, there's no way we can grow that much scratch. So, the way I see it, we need to synthesize it. Look, I understand what I'm asking you to do is crazy and illegal, but I can't do this alone. If you walk, I'll understand, but I'll have to do it myself. This is my last resort. I slowly extended my hand. He hesitated for a moment. He reached out and shook it. Partners to the end. My boy. I love selling meth. That is satire, by the way. And so as quickly as we had picked up farming, we abandoned the premise. Are we really going to do this? No rooster. This is crazy. After sending Eli out with the long shopping list, I started organizing all the things we already had. Most of Granddad's glassware was still intact, and I had most of it cleaned and set up in the garage. I heard the sound of a truck pulling up to the driveway. A minute later, Eli appeared through the side door, 2 bags in each hand. Okay, I managed to get everything you asked for. I did it just the way you told me to. Drove all over the country to spread the purchases out. I think I went to like a dozen different hardware stores. Got it all. Those plastic suits, respirators, tubing, plastic tarps, all those chemicals you asked for. I don't think I know what half these things even are. He eyed the bottles of acetone, methanol, and drain cleaner. No problems? Well, when I brought the plastic suits and the respirators, the guy over the counter asked me what they were for. What'd you say? I told him I worked for a company that scrapes roadkill off the side of the road. Good lie. Well, other than that, it all went down pretty chill. What about the matches? Yeah, I got the weird ones you asked for. The big boxes of individually divided ones. What are they for? The matches? Nothing. We want the striking plates that come in each matchbook. They're the easiest source of red phosphorus, and the individual packs have the highest yield. What about flares? I couldn't find any like you said. That's fine, it just means we'll have to grind down more strikers. And the chemicals? You found everything? He nodded his head. 2 things. The drain cleaner and the muriatic acid. I need to check them. Eli handed me the 2 jugs that contained each respectively. Alright, these look good. We'll have to concentrate each to a level that we can use. Okay, is this like... This is not what I was expecting. Is this like a meth making game? Okay. Why are the first 2 visual novels that I'm playing have to do with like serial killers, and now it's about making meth and weed? What is going on? This is not what happened in the visual novels I played before. Acid? Like the stuff that melts through bones and stuff? Not quite. Either way, it should be easy to distill concentrated sulfuric acid with Granddad's silverware. Or glassware. Fuck. Dude, how do you even know this stuff? Is there like a Meth 101 class or something? It's just chemistry. So, what have you been up to? Clean up the glassware. Granddad must have loved his toys. I gestured to the glassware. Beakers, volumetric flasks, retort flasks, condensers. He even has a modular glass still buried away in these boxes. We can do titrations, redox reactions, you name it. The old man even has a hand crank vacuum filter. I don't even know what half of those words mean. Same. I nodded my head. Let's get everything set up. So, did you call your guy? Yeah, he agreed to meet with the stuff you asked for. But look, the guy he works for is a complete psycho. So the less we deal with these guys, the better. When does it meet? Eli let out a sigh. Tonight, midnight. Here. Here? It's not like we're gonna be interrupted, and as far as they know, this is just some dead farmer's rotting property. Sorry, I didn't mean it like this. It's just... we were interrupted by the sound of a phone ringing. I took my phone out of my pocket and opened it. Oh, it's Lyra. Hey, you there? What's up? Meet at the bar tonight? Who is it? It's, well, you remember Lyra, right? Lyra? I haven't seen her in years. Is she back in town? I bumped into her in town and she wants to catch up. I'll tell her another time. Wait, no. If you say no, it'll look suspicious. The deal's not until later tonight. There's plenty of time for you to meet and greet, then come back. Are you sure? Dude, you're a chemistry student that lives on a farm in the middle of summer break. Saying no to meeting a girl at a bar is like documenting that you're housing some shadow dealings. I guess he has a point. I looked down to my phone. Sure, what time? 8 o'clock? Sounds good. It's pretty quiet there. On the weekend. See you there then. Can I give you advice? Taking advice from Eli felt like looking down the barrel of a loaded gun. Okay. Take a shower and change into something that doesn't smell like a meth lab. I took Eli's advice to heart before changing into some more formal clothes. With half an hour to spare, I started to walk towards Somerset. When I arrived back in town, the streets had almost completely emptied with the setting sun. On the weekends, Somerset's nightlife. Oh fuck. This is like the improper grammar is actually throwing me off so much. On the weekends, Somerset nightlife. And it's also just like the random apostrophe S. There is no apostrophe S here. It's supposed to be on the weekends, comma, Somerset's nightlife would stay up early. But it's like, it's not. It's throwing me off. On the weekends, Somerset nightlife would stay up early into the mornings, entertaining tourists and vacationers. But on weekdays, it could be confused for any other rural town. I looked down at my phone. 7:58. I guess she's already inside. I pushed open the door to the swanky bar and was invited in by soft music. The room was extremely dim, and as my eyes adjusted to the lighting, I spotted her sitting at the bar by herself. Found the place all by yourself? I was afraid I would have to draw you a map. Well, traffic was awful. Almost thought I wouldn't make it. She cracked a smile as I sat down. This place seems a little out of place in a town like Somerset. Some rich guy from the city bought the old lot that was here, turned it into a place for the tourists from the city. Although that just means this place is basically empty during the weekdays. So, are you still staying at the old summer cabin? No. Parents sold that place years ago. Some rich asshole bulldozed it and built a fancy beach house. That sucks. Lyra shrugged. Rich assholes will be rich assholes. No one forced us to sell. But yeah, it sucks. So, where are you staying for the time being? The old inn by the beach. I remember that one. It's nice to know some of the old places are still around. Somerset's changed since we were kids. Or maybe it just seems that way now that the rose-tinted shades are off. She took a sip from her drink. You thirsty? Oh. I don't drink. Suit yourself. She then took another sip from her glass, leaving behind a small purple imprint of lipstick. Oh wait. Was that there before? I never noticed that. I didn't notice this was here. She felt her lip with one finger and then pulled out her purse, revealing a thin tube of purple gloss from it, which she carefully reapplied to her lips. That's a pretty shade. Expensive, too. It's really a deterrent more than anything. Deterrent? She shrugged. I didn't know if you were going to show up, and there are plenty of handsome people that frequent this place. So I made sure to wear the shade as a reminder and a deterrent. Is it poisonous? She laughed at this. Not quite. They stopped making this specific shade a few years ago, and it was always my favorite. You can buy it online for an arm and a leg, but I can never really rationalize spending so much on something so simple. That could be said for a lot of things. So how's it a deterrent? Well, if I was to say, kiss someone tonight, I would want it to be a someone worth my time. Otherwise, I would have spoiled such a fine tube for nothing. She cracked a smile and took another sip from her drink. So, how many years has it been? Close to 10 now, I think. All those summers seem so far away now, like a dream that was never real. So what have you been doing for all those years? Not much. Coasted through high school. Went to university to study chemistry. Can't say I've spent much time doing anything exciting. You? You never actually said what you do for your job. My job. She paused for a moment. requires me to work with people. I guess you could say I'm not exactly a people person. So, why do you stick with it? She seemed to compose herself for a moment. It's just, sometimes I feel like I'm a broken clock. In a way, we all are. We all have that one thing that makes us whole. And when we get to do that one singular thing, that's when that's when we get to tick right twice a day. So you don't like people? People can be cruel. At some point, you get tired of being hurt. There was a moment of silence as she broke eye contact with me. I have a way with people. A way of seeing the worst in them. It's a gift, and a flaw. I can never see something as wholly good without a nagging in the back of my mind. Nagging? Like a parasite that gnaws away, looking for the one simple human truth that I have always found to be true. Which is that there can't be good without bad. That all sounds intense. I guess it's a lonely outlook on the world, but it's not all bad though. When you expect the worst in people, you'll never be disappointed in them. She didn't seem to recoil at her own words. I didn't mean to insinuate anything about... It's fine. They weren't exactly throwing me going away parties when I left for university. And when I got there, I made friends with the glassware and the textbooks. Lyra laughed at this. When I was a kid, I used to think you and Eli were the coolest two people on the planet. I guess it's just hard for me to imagine you up your nose in textbooks. I felt a wave of guilt run through my gut. Seems kind of fitting that we ended up where we did then, I guess. What do you mean? It's just... never mind. She let out another small chuckle. Talk about something else. So, the farm. What's your plan? I was gonna sell it to a local. At least that was the plan. What happened? I ran into a few bumps in the road, but I have some plans in the work. If you and Eli cooked up these plans, I can only imagine how this is gonna end. I laughed at this, but even still I remembered how things had ended all those years ago. I felt the wave of guilt return to me. I should really say something. You can choose not to? Huh. Okay. I'm gonna make a save here. I'm gonna apologize first. Maybe this is like a route breaker. All those years ago. Lyra? Hmm? And as if someone knew I was in trouble. Oh, that's mine. That's crazy! It doesn't even get to. I opened it. It was Eli. Dude, the dealer. He pushed the deal up. 20 minutes. Get your pants on. Everything okay? Yeah, just something at the farm. Lyra, I have to go. I figured as much. She didn't finish off her drink in one final swig. I have a few minutes. I can walk you back to your hotel room if you want. She smiled at this as she stood. I'll manage on my own. I'm a big girl after all. She then placed her hand on my shoulder, and in one swift movement planted a small kiss on my cheek, leaving behind a faint purple imprint. But thanks for offering. She pulled her purse over her shoulder, and with a small hand movement waved goodbye, as she left me at the bar. See you around. I wiped the small stain away. And looked down at my finger that was now smudged purple. I exited the bar and quickly hurried back towards the farm. I'm kind of curious now, if I... Is there no load? Oh, I just have to... Pin out? Oh, okay. I want to see what happens when I don't. So I'm not going to apologize. Is it probably just the same thing? I doubt she even remembers all those years ago. Then as if someone knew I was in trouble. Okay, yeah, it's the same thing, so it doesn't even matter. You made it. He let out a long sigh. So what are you gonna say? What? To the dealer, you got a plan? It's just a business transaction, right? You've done this before. Yeah, but never anything this big. Man, I thought you had a plan. I had a plan? You're the ex-drug dealer. And by the way, did you really text me the details of a drug deal meat being pushed up? Me? It took you all of one day to decide you wanted to cook crystal meth. And you don't have a plan for talking to this guy? Ah, man. Please tell me you at least have the money to pay this guy. I got it all, don't worry. Just then, a bright red muscle car pulled up through the open wooden gate and stopped just right in front of us. A man in a hoodie appeared from the driver's seat. Hey man, how's it going? You been chilling and stuff? Can we cut the formals and get to the deal? Sure thing, man. The man then began sizing me up from head to toe. Who's this punk, Eli? Hey man, he's chill, you don't gotta worry. As soon as the scowl had appeared, it disappeared. Alright man, you boys looking to party? He then popped his trunk to reveal a carefully organized collection of illegal substances. You brought the pseudo, right? Yeah, I brought it, man. Is that really all you guys want? That's all I'm paying for. God damn, Eli, this dude got a stick so far up his ass it's coming out of his nose. Listen, friend, I got it all. Crack, blow, acid, weed, every prescription you could need supplied by the finest smurfs the county has to offer. How much pseudo do you have? A few dozen boxes. Tell you what, I'll cut you a deal for the pseudo. I throw in a sample of your choice. You strike me as a refined guy. How about oxys? Just the pseudo. Man, is it just me, Eli, or does this little bitch seem to want to rush to the exchange part of the deal a little too quick? Come on, man, he's chill. DragonHorseBird just got like a mathematical mind, you dig? He's all about the solution, you know. Fine, suit yourself, you prudy asshole. Here's the deal. $4 for a dozen boxes. You got more than a dozen boxes in there. I've got other clients, dog. Supply and demand. Mind if I check the pills? You saying I'm trying to pull a fast one? Hey, come on. It's chill, dude. It's all there. So show me the scratch, dog. $3 for a dozen. Holy shit, no wonder he doesn't want any product. This dude must be stone cold stoned. Why would you use stone in the same... whatever. Holy shit, no wonder he doesn't want any product. This dude must be stone cold stoned out of his brain. I'm serious. I like you, Eli, but this is bullshit. He didn't kick dirt in front of me and close his trunk, returning to the driver's side door. Wait, come on, man. You walk away now, and you're gonna lose the biggest score of your career. And how's that, man? You talk about supply and demand, but I couldn't help but notice you have no method. Okay, I'm not saying the whole thing again, it's too confusing. You talk about supply and demand, but I couldn't help but notice you have no meth in the back of this dick compensator you call a car. You got more... oh my god. You've got more pseudo in there than anything else. So I'm guessing the lab you bought and sold went up in smoke. They get busted? The dealer scoffed. The two jibheads I bought from blew themselves up on the interstate, driving around an RV they were cooking shaken bacon. $2 for all the pseudos. The dealer opened his mouth to laugh. And you come back next week with $30 and I'll have a pound of chemically pure product. No crap, no filler, no cuts. All profit. You got balls. 25. 30. The dealer spit a large mass into the dirt and shook his head. Circus must be in town, because all I see is a bunch of clowns. He then turned and looked back at me with a glare of malice. You fuck me on this. Those two jibheads ain't the only ones that cops are gonna find burning on the side of the interstate. So, we have a deal? The man popped the trunk of his car. Yeah, we got a deal. He quickly picked up every box of pseudo he had and stuffed them into a large garbage bag before thrusting them into Eli's hand. I handed him the envelope with the rest of my cash. You got 3 days. Do not fuck me. And with the slam of his door, he drove off into the night. How did you know how much to ask for a pound of meth? I shrugged. I didn't. Why? Do you think I went too low? Fuck, dude. I said we shouldn't be making deals with these guys. Now you want to sell a pound of crystal to them? As opposed to what? Selling it on the side of the street for a cardboard? As opposed to what? Selling it on the side of the street from a cardboard stand like it's lemonade? So unless you have some other contact we can sell to, this is our best option. I grabbed the bag of pills. Come on, dude, let's get some sleep. Tomorrow, we start for real. Eli and I spent a silent night in our separate rooms. Are we actually going to do this? We're officially out of money, and we've already come this far. If Eli's afraid of those guys, I don't think we have a choice but to cook. Dude, I did not think this game would turn out this way. What the fuck? Oh my god. Today's the day. I made my way to the garage. Eli was already there. Hey man, so we're actually gonna do this? I nodded my head. No turning back. Where do we start? First things first, PPE. This stuff is toxic. I opened the windows and turned on the fan to start circulating air out of the room. I always heard that meth labs smell like cat pee. We're not very far from the town. You sure we won't draw suspicion? That smell is caused by the ammonium and sulfur-based compounds released from the manufacturing process. Lucky for us, that's the exact same thing that gives fertilizer its earthy smell. With all the farming that's done in this area, if anyone does catch a whiff, they'll probably just dismiss it as manure. And then we started. Eli and I changed into the full-body plastic suits we had brought from the hardware store. I started by handing Eli a nail filer and a beak. Start filing down the striker strips for red phosphorus. Eli hesitantly took the metal instrument. Even with all the PPE on, I could tell he was nervous. If anything, all the gear we were wearing only compounded his already fractured nerves. You sure? What if I do something wrong? It's simple. Just try to get as much of the dust into the beaker as you can. We'll measure out the amount we need for the reaction later. Alright. I took a piece of paper and pencil in the hand. Wait, why is this... What? This is not supposed to be dialogue, I don't think. Why am I saying this? I took out a piece of paper and pencil in hand and began to draw out the reaction mechanism. After an hour, Eli had collected half of beakers full of red phosphorus, and I had completed my calculations. Alright, let's start crushing the pseudos. I handed him a mortar and pestle, and we began to break open the pallets of thin red pills, popping the pills into the small ceramic bowls before crushing them up into the fine pink dust. Alright, I turned on the hot plate. Now we start the fun part. Fun? Can you maybe break down what all we're gonna do? Is that even right? Is that correct English? I don't know. In chemistry, it's called a reduction, the transfer of electrons from one molecule to another. This reaction is called a Nagai reduction. Nagai? He was a Japanese chemist from the 19th century who first synthesized meth using a reduction reaction between ephedrine, iodine, and red phosphorus. You know, you're saying a whole lot of words, But I don't think you're actually speaking English. Well, if it makes you feel any better, we're going to have a few warm-up steps, so maybe you'll find your chops along the way. I think it's crazy that you have to put your name here, because basically you're the one that's cooking the meth. I think that's hilarious. There are a few precursor compounds we're going to need to manufacture ourselves. Precursor? We're going to need to... Is this supposed to be dialogue? Or is this like narration? I'm telling you, this dialogue options are... I don't think they were proofread properly. Or there's maybe translation issues. Because something ain't right. We're going to make our own hydrogen iodide and use that to perform the reduction with red phosphorus. That should increase our overall yield significantly. Okay, how do we do that? Half the chemicals I had you buy, the drain cleaner, bleach, urea, gelatin packets, all of that is going to be used to make hydrazine. Wait, I've heard of that stuff. That's like rocket fuel or something, right? Yes, to some extent. But what we're making is a little different. We're going to make hydrazine sulfate, a powdered version that's much safer. Okay, what do we need it for? We're going to use it to make hydrogen iodide, which in combination with water will make hydroiodic acid. Okay, and once we have that, then what? We begin cooking the real product. This all seems like a lot, dude. I don't know if I can handle this. Eli, I can't do this alone. Just follow my lead. We slipped our respirators over our faces. I kind of fuck with this background music though. First, the hydrazine. We gotta be careful. This stuff will boil if we add it too fast. More ice. Let it cool. Keep stirring. Add it slowly. Okay, hydrazine's done. Let's move on to the iodine. Watch it. Keep the fan on full. Okay, now we mix it with that deionized water. Our very first acid. Now we start the real cook. I pulled my notes out. All I have to do is follow the instructions. What do I do first? I don't remember any... Okay, wait. There's notes here. Meth for dummies. Okay. So ephedrine into that. What next? What? These are all... There's no high heat. I'm assuming it's that. A large purple cloud explodes out of the flash. That didn't work. Maybe try again. Maybe it's good I'm getting this wrong. This is not good, bro. Oh, maybe this? I think that worked. What's next? This? Wait, the ratios are all messed up. It turned to sludge. I have to start over. Fuck. Okay, that. Oh, wait. It's just step 1 goes to this, step 2, step 3. Okay. So high heat and phosphorus. Wait. No, wait, that's hydrogen iodide and phosphorus in low heat. So add the red phosphorus. So far, so good. Then add the solvent. That looks good. Almost done. And then we extract the organic layer. The final product. By the time we're done, I had completely lost track of time. It had taken all day to prepare the precursors and finish the cook, but as the final product solidified into its crystal form, I breathed a sigh of relief. I took my respirator off, and Eli stood catatonic. I'm not sure if he could follow in my footsteps. It's fine, all the fumes are long gone by now. We stripped off our PPE and stored them away before turning to our final product. So, how much do we have? I checked the consistency of the product. It had hardened and crystallized into its pure solid form. I guess we find out. I took a rubber mallet in hand and began to smash the crystalline product into manageable chunks. Hand me one of the bags. Eli passed me a clear plastic sandwich bag. I placed the bag on our new electronic scale and zeroed the weight before pulling it off and loading it up with our newly synthesized product. I placed it back on the scale and Eli and I watched with bated breath as the weight increased. 510.291 grams. Is that a lot? That's... I paused as I did the math in my head. About 18 ounces. And is that a lot? That's about 1.1 pounds. So yes, I'd say we came out ahead this time. And based on the amount of pseudo we used, that's about 92% yield by weight for my precursor ephedrine. And is that good? I turned and faced him. Yes. That's... I laughed a little. That's very good. He seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. And what about purity? Do you think they'll have any problems with it? I took a long look at one of the crystals. It wasn't discolored or cloudy. Well, if we had some TLC plates and a pure sample of meth, I could give you a ballpark level. Or UV spectral... Dog, these big words, man. I'm like Eli here, I don't... This is not my forte. Or UV spectroscopy? Spectroscopy? I don't fucking know, bro. That would also work, but... Get to the point, man. Is my guy gonna have any problems? For real, get to the point. I nodded my head. No. We did good, Eli. Jeez, that's a relief. Haha. Man, I was afraid of what my guy would do if we showed up empty-handed. You did good today, Eli. Ha, maybe I'll put this on my resume. I scoffed. Try technical experience in the production of organic compounds. If you had that on your CV, I'm sure you could get a real job. Seeing Eli crack a smile set my mind at ease. This whole thing was intense. Well, the next time we'll do even better. Plus, it should take less time since we synthesized all the precursors already. Next time? We haven't even sold one batch. I just mean, you did good, Eli. You're a damn fine partner. Thanks. I'm exhausted, man. Yeah, let's get some sleep. Keep me in the loop about your guy, and tell him we have the stuff ready. Sure thing. I think I'll go to the bar for a nightcap. After all this, I need a drink. Can I give you some advice? Sure, man. Take a shower and change into something that doesn't smell like a meth lab. Eli and I went our separate ways for the night. Morning again. I wonder if Eli made it back okay. I got out of bed and headed down the hallway. Eli? I knocked on the door of his room and heard no response. I pushed the door open a crack. His room smelled heavily of weed, and several empty bottles of beer sat at his bedside table. He was passed out in bed. Guess he was out late celebrating. I knocked on the edge of the doorframe and he snorted, as he slumped awake for a moment. What? Just making sure you're still breathing. Leave me. What? Oh, my head. I closed the door. I guess you've earned a day off. Then I heard it. I returned to my charging phone. Hey. What's up? You busy? I was thinking... beach day? Sounds like fun. Got a new swimsuit. Yo! Been waiting to break it in. Sure, what time? 1 o'clock? Oh, shit! Eli, still obviously hungover, stumbled into the room. Dude, we got a problem. He held up his phone and I read the message in question. Last night, apparently I called my guy. He thinks you're going to meet in an hour for the deal. What? Why would you do that? Dude, I was plastered out of my mind. I kinda overdid it. But you knew it was a celebration. Listen, obviously this isn't ideal. Sober up. We'll meet with him and do the deal. Okay. I hurried into the garage and found the bag of crystal we had cooked just the other day. I picked it up and already could tell something was wrong. It wasn't where I had left it the other day. I placed it on the scale. 1.05 pounds. Eli, get in here! What? We're missing an ounce. Missing? What happened last night? You didn't smoke. What? No. Then what happened? I could tell that question was racking every fiber of his brain for an answer. Oh god, I think I might have sold it to someone last night. That's crazy, bro. What? You sold it? It's all so fuzzy, but I think I met a guy last night. He had some friends who were looking to party, and I was so drunk. Open your wallet. What? Just do it. Eli reached into his back pocket and pulled out the small leather sleeve. What? Sleeve? Inside we found a few $100s in fresh, clean bills. Did you have this cash before? No. I had maybe 40 bucks after the shopping spree for the lab. So who did you sell it to? I don't know, man. I was so fucked up. Well, think. I think it was a college kid or something. You're joking. What are we gonna do? What do you mean? I mean, can this guy ID you? Well, I mean, why would he need to do that? Because if this guy gets caught with drugs, what's the first thing the cops are gonna ask him? Fuck. Oh god, I think I'm going to puke. Not in my lab, you're not. Eli rushed out of the room and outside. I grabbed the bag of product and hurried after him, just in time to watch him hurl over the side of the porch. I'm so screwed. Eli, we shouldn't be making assumptions. For all we know, this guy could just be a tourist, and he could already be gone. Oh fuck. I gotta skip town, man. Eli, you gotta get a grip. You'll lay low for a bit, but for now in the short term, we need to get ready for the deal. Where's it going down? Is that really all you can think about right now? I'm just saying if you need to skip town, you're gonna need the cash. Okay, you're right. Eli pulled out his phone out of his pocket. He's gonna be here in 20 minutes. Eli and I scrambled to get everything together and rushed outside before the dealer showed up. As the dealer's red muscle car pulled up to the farm, Eli looked like he was gonna throw up again. So, you two morons sure no one lives here? Yeah man, it's cool. Old guy who lived here kicked it a few months ago. No one's been here since. The dealer eyed Eli from head to toe. You look like shit. But whatever, just show me the product. First, I want to see the money. The dealer rolled his eyes and pulled a Ziploc bag that held several rolls of cash from the back of his car. Product. I held out the... Why is this in dialogue? I held out the bag and the dealer snatched it up with one swift motion. He opened the bag and took out one of the small jagged crystals before tasting it. He spat it out. Not bad, for two morons. He took out a small scale of his back seat and weighted the bag. 1.05 pounds. And here I thought it was all air. He tossed me the bag of money and then pulled out his wallet and received a few extra $100. For the extra half an ounce. I took the extra cash in hand. So, same time next week? We'll need more pseudo. Not my problem. What do you mean, not your problem? Listen, you guys had everything I had, and... My pseudo guy got busted, okay? Who was he? Just a guy. Dude worked at some pharmaceutical warehouse. He would scam a few boxes every now and then. Lose some paperwork here and there. Dude finally got caught, I guess. The man then got back into his car, and I leaned through his window to whisper. What happened to him? Has he been talking to the cops? Huh. The boss had that dude shipped in the back while he was showering in the local pen a day ago. So don't you worry your pretty little face. No one talks about our biz and gets away with it. And with that, he drove off. As he made his way out of the gate, Eli threw up again. Oh man. Did you hear him? I'm not screwed. I'm dead, dude. All that guy did was sell him a few pills. What do you think they'll do to me when they've learned I've been compromised? They're not going to learn anything. How do you know? I've got to skip town. No. Eli, if you run now, it will look suspicious. Not just to the cops, but to those guys too. But you gotta play it cool for now. I opened the bag of cash and began to count out the rolls. 15 grand each. I handed him his share. This is a lot of money. I know. Now we need to talk about upscaling our production. 2 or 3 pounds a deal, or else we're not going to be able to meet our deadline. Are you serious? Another deal? All things considered, this could have gone worse. How are we going to get that amount of pseudo? We barely managed 1 pound of all the boxes we had. I don't know yet. Fuck, man. I gotta go burn a joint before my heart explodes. Eli took his cash and returned to his room. And then I remembered. Lyra. I had completely forgotten about my phone. I rushed over to my bedside table and stashed a bag of cash into the drawer before grabbing my phone. Oh damn, it's 1:34. Fuck, I'm late. Hey, are you there? What's going on? Sorry, had a problem. Can we meet later? I'm in town right now. You should get here. Something happened. What? I grabbed my wallet and slipped into my pocket with my phone before heading out. When I arrived into town, an aura of intensity had overtaken the whole city center. Then I noticed a small crowd. Something's not right. Then I saw it. A group of paramedics carrying a black body bag into the mortuary ambulance. What? Hey. She had found me amongst the crowd. Who was that? A local, apparently. Some college kid who was back in town for the break. What happened? There are a lot of rumors, but apparently they found drugs on him. With those words, I felt a burning anxiety overtake me. They're saying he OD'd. I felt my heart beating out of control. A burning tightness in my chest overtook me. you okay? I have to calm down. Yeah, it's just... say something. I exhaled, and the panic stopped. It's a tragedy. My heart beat slower. My chest began to clear. Did you know him? No, not really. He was a local, I think. Where did he get the drugs? It's anyone's guess. Some tourist from the city probably sold it to him. Just another dumb kid who wanted to get high. And now... She let out a sigh. You want to get out of here? Yeah, I think I'll head back to my hotel. Do you want me to walk you back? Sure. Thank you, DragonHorseBird. As we walked in silence, I got the feeling there was something Lyra didn't want to tell me. Are you okay? It's just a waste. A life thrown away for nothing. A few hours of euphoria? Is that really the sum of life? Sometimes I think, are all we doing chaining happy memories together? Interlaced within periods of intoxication? Numbing out the pain and pretending to remember only the good things? Is that the sum of a life? I thought it was best to give her some space. That guy, he must have been the one Eli sold to last night. And if he's dead, no more loose ends. And if I tell Eli, it could take all that weight off his shoulder. Or it could destroy him. What do I do? Oh my god. Okay. This time, I'm gonna save. Right? That's save. Okay. I think it'd be better to tell him. Because then at least he can... Actually, no, it might make it worse. Fuck it, I'll tell him. He deserves to know the truth. I took a step towards his shut door and raised a closed fist to knock. I hesitated and went for the doorknob. When I entered, all the lights were out and the curtains were shut. The room was heavy with the stench of weed and beer. Eli was sitting on his bed looking away from the door. Eli? I need to tell you something. The guy you sold to yesterday, they found him. I was afraid this statement alone would cause him to freak, but it didn't. He just stayed completely still, content in his silence. He OD'd. I just want you to know, no one is looking for you. They can't prove anything. And it wasn't your fault. If that guy wanted drugs, he would have found someone else to sell them to. Silence was my only answer. Just keep your chin up. I closed the door. I turned in early after doing very little for the rest of the day. I wonder what happens if I don't tell him. Morning. I rolled over and took my phone off the nightstand. Hey, you doing okay? If you need to talk. I heard a knock on my doorframe and looked up to find Eli. Hey man. What's up? My guy, the dealer, he texted me last night. He said he found a new pseudo supplier if we want to make a deal. You're okay with that? Even after what happened? Eli nodded his head. Once we make enough money, we can both put this whole thing behind us. I nodded my head. Okay, if you think that's the play. Call your guy. Eli left the room and I turned back to my phone. Still no response from Lyra. I went outside to find Eli on the phone. After a few minutes, he hung up. He's on his way. You feeling okay? Eli nodded. I don't think I can blame myself. Whatever happens, happens, you know? It's like I said before. Fate drove us here, right? And we've made it this far. So I guess something out there has got our back. I didn't know if I believed that. We waited in silence, and half an hour later, the same red muscle car pulled up to our driveway. You boys look like shit. So what happened? Huh? Yesterday you didn't want anything to do with us. Now you bent over backwards just to find another pseudo supplier. Huh, the crystal you cooked up sold faster than anything we've had before. We turned a profit on that thing so quick, it made the boss's head spin. So now we want more. I'll even up the price. The dealer then pulled a large bag of cash from his car. 100 grand for 3 pounds. 3 pounds? You know how much pseudo that would take? It's chill, dog. Got the pills back here. He gestured for me to follow as he walked to the back of his car. He popped the trunk. What? It's empty? Then a sharp pain ran down the back of my neck. Hey, hey! I was forced into the trunk, dazed and reeling from the blow. I turned to fight back and saw the dealer pull a handgun from his waistband as he slammed the trunk door in my face, and I was left in muffled darkness. You want to die, moron? Get in the car, now! Okay, I'm going. I could feel the fear in Eli's voice as the door to the car opened and then closed. Listen, man, what's this about? Shut up! I heard the muffled sound of something being hit against metal, and Eli was suddenly quiet. I could feel a small trail of blood oozing from the back of my head. I could feel myself beginning to fade, as I fell into a cold, dazed unconsciousness. Wake up! I said get the fuck up, dipshit! What? And then everything came back to me like a sucker punch to the head. Get the fuck up. The man then dragged me out of the trunk and into the blinding light of the midday sun. We were in the middle of the field somewhere, deep in what looked like the forest around Somerset. What the fuck is this about? He pulled the handgun from his waistband and pointed it at my face. I'm not here to answer your questions. He grabbed onto my shirt cuff and pulled me onto my feet, before pushing me towards the door of the trailer. Where's Eli? Your boy's taking a nap in the back seat. I turned to look back at the car, and the man hit me in the back of the head again with the edge of his handgun. Go, shithead. He gestured me towards the RV. I opened the door to the trailer, and was met with a mobile meth lab. It was remarkably like the setup Eli and I had created in the garage. So, this is the cook? Yeah, this is him. He cooked the stuff I brought you yesterday. So, you're the boss, right? Name's Snakes. That crystal you cooked up. He then kissed his 2 forefingers and his thumb together, like it had been fine cuisine. That shit sold faster than any product we've ever had. It was clean, cool, and straight sent those jipheads all the way to the moon and back. You, my friend, are an artist. What is this about? My man over here tells me about the little operation you've been pulling out of that garage. You, my friend, are Michelangelo. Your work should be hanging in the Louvre. You should be working out of a penthouse suite of a 5-star hotel, not scraping together pseudo from 2 big gangsters like this dude. He again gestured at the dealer who brought me here. Or cooking in some dead old guy's garage. I got connections with dudes who can get us all the pseudo we need. Why would I do that? Because I asked you nicely. What exactly do I get out of this deal exactly? Why? My friendship, of course. I want to see Eli. Snakes then let out a long sigh. I asked you nicely, man. We could have been friends. Snakes then pulled a handgun out of his back waistband and cocked the chamber. Start cooking. I ain't gonna ask again. I turned and the dealer gave me the same look Snakes had. I looked over all the equipment in the mobile lab. And it's the wrong there! Their glassware was filthy, but a significant amount of crushed pseudo and res phosphorus was already prepared, along with everything else I would need. Think. 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 Go on, man. We all want to see the master in practice. These guys are just gonna waste me as soon as I've taught them how we made it. First of all, your glassware is filthy. How are you supposed to get a clean product when you have all the contaminants in every inch of this place? Hahaha. Meth's meth, dude. You think jibheads give a crap where it comes from? Now get working. To wonder these morons haven't blown themselves up yet. Then I got an idea. Very bad idea. I took the container labeled I and dumped it into the largest beaker possible. Luckily, they were the perfect brand for what I was doing. Small BB-sized pellets of crystallized iodine. Then I took the bottle of clear ammonia from the pile of various chemicals. Let's hope these guys are as stupid as they look. I poured the ammonia into the container to its brim and waited for the reaction to take place. What are you doing? I've seen cooking before and this don't look like cooking. Fuck, think now. It's a part of our process. By mixing ammonia with iodine, we can purify the crystals. The result is a much purer final product. Both the dealer and Snakes seemed perplexed by this idea. A pure final product means the more meth for less pseudo. More return on investment. Now that's the shit I'm talking about. Not one of these morons would know to do that kind of level 10 shit. Keep going, and I want to know all the details. It has to be done by now. As long as it's wet, there's no risk. I then poured the iodine beans through a large coffee filter to remove the excess ammonia. Then I poured the still wet beads into a second beaker to dry. It filled almost to the top. That has to be 100, maybe 150 grams. This is fucking crazy. So, what do you do with that? That? I gestured to the iodine crystals. Nothing. It has to dry first. I then started the real process. I just needed to stall long enough for it to dry. I started by washing out the beakers with the bottled water and acetone. Nah, man, skip that shit. Any moron can scrub glass. I want to see the real magic. I say we put a bullet in his partner's kneecap. That ought to incentivize him. Yo, shut the fuck up, man. This ain't your operation, bitch. I kept stalling for another 20 minutes, but soon could feel the aura of frustration growing to a climax. Alright, enough of this slow-ass bullshit. Show me the real shit or I waste your partner, and then start target practicing with your toes. I normally have a partner, okay? If you guys hadn't knocked Eli out, I wouldn't have to do all this manual labor myself. Have your guy help me out. Snakes turned to face the dealer. Do it. Nah, man, I ain't trying to get cancer from one of these chems and shit. You talking back to me, bitch? I don't touch that stuff, man. I'll handle all the chemicals. I just need someone to prepare, clean, and crush the precursors. You heard him. You think Michelangelo made his own paints, huh? Do it. Think of it as a learning experience. The dealer then pushed his gun into his waistband. This is bullshit. Fine, what do I need to do? The iodine crystals. Start crushing them up. I handed in the pestle that had previously been used to crush the pseudo. I felt a surge of adrenaline as he took it in hand. He hovered over the container of iodine crystals and I watched him raise the heavy blunt club. Everything seemed so slow as he reeled back to crush the compound. The pestle met with the iodine crystals and I bolted away from the counter like a coiled snake. A massive cloud of purple iodine gas filled the trailer. I held my breath and slammed into Snakes as I ran, and he tumbled to the floor of the trailer, completely caught off guard by the explosion. What the fuck? I heard the hiss of compressed gas escaping. Snakes had slammed into the valve of the propane tank they had been using for the burners. I could hear the pain-filled screams of the dealer as I rushed for the door. And as I burst through the door, I caught a glimpse of him in my peripherals. He was covered in blood, as jagged shards of glass had fragmented into his face and chest as deadly shrapnel. He was gripping his hand that was now only a purple-stained mess of jumbled and bloodied fingers. For the moment, his pain-filled screams were the only thing I heard as I blitzed outside the trailer. I slammed the door closed behind me, pulling it as hard as I could. In an adrenaline-filled haze, I ripped the cheap metal handle off the frame, jamming the door closed. I could hear the two men inside gasping for air as they began to suffocate from the iodine gas. "I'm gonna kill that little bitch!" I could hear him slamming into the now jammed door. "Where the fuck is my gun?" He's not actually going to... I ran as quickly as my legs could carry me and ducked behind the tree. Oh, they did. They really are that stupid. Eli. I rushed to the red muscle car and opened the door. Eli slid out, hands and legs still bound by zip ties. What the fuck? I felt the rush of adrenaline begin to subside and fell to the ground, my back against the luster of the car, as an extreme fatigue fell over me. I began to shiver. Eli snapped the zip ties off his arms and pulled the few that bound his legs off in one swift motion. What the fuck did you do? I felt my heart still rushing, and with bated breath, I answered. Ammonia and iodine crystals mixed to form nitrogen triiodide, a contact explosive so sensitive it can be detonated by alpha particle radiation. It'll explode if you touch it, move it, blow on it, or in these guys' cases, hit it with a pestle. So how did you survive? That, I pointed towards the burning trailer, was caused by one particularly stupid man's decision to discharge a firearm in a dirty, fuel-filled, and iodine-enclosed meth lab. Huh. Eli began to scream into the empty field. Ha! He fell down next to me. He looked as exhausted as I was. We gotta get out of here. I nodded my head. I don't suppose he left his keys in the glove compartment. Then I remembered. I stood up immediately and began to dig through every crevice of the car, until I found the large plastic bag that held the money. I snatched up the bag and turned to Eli. We gotta get out of here. It took us all day to get back to the farm. We had wandered lost for hours until we found the road that led back to Somerset. The sun was already setting by the time we got back to the farm. The surreal euphoria of the day had subsided hours ago, and had quickly been replaced with the creeping chill of panic. Eli and I wordlessly stepped into the house. What do we do now? We? Fuck that shit. I'm out. I'm done. Eli, listen. We just need to lay low. The cops don't know we were there. They'll find their car, the bodies, the lab, and assume those two idiots just blew themselves up trying to cook. They have no way to track it back to us. This is crazy. We're fucking killers. Those guys are dead because of us. Eli! It was us or them. They came here with guns to our head, and would have buried us in that field if we didn't do what we just did. I can't. This is the end, man. The fucking end! I gotta get high. In his inane, dazed stupor, Eli pushed to his room and began searching every inch of it for a joint. I let out a sigh. Eli, you gotta get a grip. I took the bag of money in hand. It was all I could think to do. I opened it and spilled the content of the bag on his bed. I began to split the pot, making two piles split 50-50. That's when I realized. Eli. I could see the panic in his eyes. This isn't 100 grand. What? Don't tell me we did all that for nothing more than chump changes. This is closer to 200. Maybe more. What? This? I pushed his share of almost $100,000 closer to him. Is whatever you want. You can go anywhere. Start over. Be anyone you want to be. Be the person you always wanted to be. I need to think. I turned away and scooped up half the money. I left Eli to his own thoughts and returned to my bedroom. I sat down on the mattress and didn't even think about going to bed. My heart couldn't stop pounding. My mind raced. Killers now. My phone? I had completely forgotten about it. Lyra had been sending me messages all day. Sorry for yesterday. That was hard. I've been thinking. Are you... I scrolled down to the most recent messages. Hey, are you doing okay? Are you still there? I guess you're busy. I wish we could talk. I guess I stood her up. All I could hear was the beating of my heart. The shock. The fear. The panic. Why won't it stop? I looked down at my phone. I didn't even remember typing the word. Beach. My legs carried me there, even though I was exhausted, even as my mind began to crack. Not until I was already there, sitting in the sand, listening to the waves. Killers now. I heard her soft footsteps in the sand. DragonHorseBird? What's going on? Just from her voice, I could tell. It had gone from confusing to concern in an instant. Are you okay? DragonHorseBird? You didn't say anything all day, and then you think... Silence was her answer. She wanted to be mad, but for some reason, she couldn't bring herself to be. Why? Why doesn't she hate me? She sat down next to me. What's going on with you? I don't know where to begin. You should just leave. Dog, there's no way you're telling her to come to the beach just to ask her to leave. Tell me anything. It doesn't have to be what's wrong. But tell me something. I turned to look at her. I know it's been a long time since we were kids. And even then, I know we weren't friends. But I want you to... I wish you felt like you could tell me anything. I tried to do some good, but I think all I did was make things worse. My face fell into my hands, and I felt a stream of tears fall down my face. It's okay. You don't have to be strong here. She placed her hand on my shoulder. I'm a coward. I couldn't bring myself to admit the smallest things. How could I? It was my mom. The reason I ran off yesterday, right before I started high school. My dad passed away. My mom, she just lost it. She couldn't work. She didn't clean or cook or even bathe. She would just stay in her room all day long, sleeping or crying. I had to do everything. Buy groceries, clean the house, cook our meals. I even drove myself to school with my learners just to make it to class on time. Then, she started using pills first. She used to get prescriptions from this piece of shit doctor. A quack with a lab coat and a prescription pad. He'd write a script for everything. Then they started cracking down on pills. But by then, she was already too addicted to do anything else. So she started buying from dealers. But when pills started getting harder to come by, she would use whatever she could to get her hands on heroin. Most days, I would come home to find her too strung out to do anything but drool on a mattress. I remember hating her so much. I just wanted one day when I would come home and not have to deal with her passed out in a pool of piss. One day when I could be just a teenager. One day when I didn't have to force her to do something as simple as bathe. And then one day, I got my wish. I came home, and she was dead. OD'd, alone in that filthy room, in a pool of her own vomit. I remember feeling relieved. Like I was living in a nightmare, and it was finally over. But then, all that hate I had for her came crashing down on me. Why couldn't I stop her? Why couldn't I have helped her? But in reality, there was nothing I could have done. This place, Somerset, it's not like we could have ever gotten help in a town like this. A tourist trap like this place, they'd never want to spoil their image. And that helplessness, it tore me apart until there was nothing left inside of me but bitterness and hatred and apathy. Her hand shifted up to my cheek, and she wiped away the stream of tears. I know what it's like to be in that hole. I've been down there before, and I know the way out. Please say something. There are some people who I've hurt. People like me? I hesitated. You remember that? She nodded her head. Maybe that's how it all started. Maybe that was just a stepping stone. The first thing that someone told me when I got here was this place wouldn't change me. It would just show who I really am. Maybe I've always been this person, and now it's just out in the open. I've always been a bastard. I felt her hand slip down my shoulder and interlock with my own. It took me so many years to realize that hating yourself doesn't make the pain go away. You have to learn to forgive yourself. I don't think I can come back from the things I've done. I don't think I can forgive myself. She then reached out and kissed me softly in the lips. I forgive you for all those years ago. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. We sat there, her head on my shoulder, and watched the sunset over the horizon. Did you know that when we were little, I had a huge crush on you? I half laughed at this statement through my hoarse throat and watery eyes before nodding my head. Yes. I could guess as much. Did you also know that tomorrow the town is having their midsummer festival? They're closing off the city center for a private event. and the whole town is gonna come. No tourists, just the locals. I was thinking maybe you could be my date. If you want. I let out a soft sigh. My heart finally stopped racing. Maybe Lyra was right. Maybe this wasn't the end. Maybe this could be the beginning. Even after everything that's happened, I can still find reasons. When I opened the front door, Eli was waiting in the living room. I wordlessly walked in and then shut the door. You okay? He nodded. I thought about what you said. And after tomorrow, I'm going to leave town. I'll take my money and head out. Find a new life, I guess. Maybe I'll even go to college like you. I thought I could at least attend the Midsummer Festival, say my goodbyes to everyone, before ditching the old place. What about you? I don't know yet, but I think my criminal days are over. I'll take care of the lab, get rid of the evidence. You won't have to worry about any of this. Eli then stood. I guess I'll see you tomorrow at the festival, but if I don't, maybe we'll meet again, in another life. Huh, yeah, maybe. I outstretched my hand, and Eli shook it. Thanks for being my partner in this life. A new life? Do I deserve such a thing? Maybe it's not about a new life. Maybe it's about a better life. I made it back just in time. I pulled up to the gravel driveway and turned off the engine of Eli's truck off. I pulled up the yellow envelope that had taken me all morning to put together. I had spent hours driving all over the country to every bank in the 30-mile radius, exchanging $5,000 in cash to their equivalent value in cashier checks. I opened a letter I had written to my parents. Dear Mom and Dad, I found out a lot of things about Granddad and myself this summer. He had a lot of debt, but it also looks like he was planning to pay it all back. I found a bunch of cashier checks buried under his bed. It turns out he would drive all over the country selling his crops. I guess he didn't trust banks or something. He almost had enough to pay off his debts, but he passed away before he could finish. Since his property is inherited under your name, I made sure to enclose all the money in this envelope. I hope to see you again soon. P.S. I'm thinking of staying in Somerset. For a little while longer. I put the letter down and slipped it into the envelope with all the checks, before stepping out of the truck. Eli must have left for the festival already. His bags are packed and arranged neatly next to the front door. I placed his car keys on the living room table. I let out a sigh, opening the door to the garage. I took one last final look at the lab we had built. It almost felt wrong taking apart such a setup. I unfolded a large black trash bag and began scooping up the glassware into the plastic sack. It took me a solid hour and almost half a dozen trash bags to get everything cleaned up. I guess I'll have to wait till tomorrow to throw all this stuff away. I should probably take it to the dump myself, or maybe wait until tonight and spread them among the public dumpsters. I checked my phone. 11:34. Guess I should get cleaned up and head into town. After showering, I put on the nicest shirt and pants that I had brought with me. Even then, it was nothing fancy. I looked down at my phone. It was Lyra. Where do we meet? I can come over. It's a bit ripe here. With all the manure. General store? Sounds good. See you there. I let out a deep breath, tucked the envelope into my back pocket, and walked out the front door. The festival's already in full swing. Didn't need a map, I see. I even tied my own shoes. She slipped her hand into my own. What should we do first? I actually need to mail a letter first. Then I'm free for the rest of the day. Who's it to? My parents. Just letting them know what's been going on. Well then, get a move on. I know it's the solstice, but the sun's not going to keep forever. Hand in hand, we walked to a small P.O. box that sat in front of the general store. I slipped the envelope into the box and slid the opening closed. All done. Good. Come on. She then pulled me away from the mailbox and into the city square. A variety of activities have been set up for the town to partake in. From the big potluck, to a band playing soft folk music, to a few carnival games for the kids. What should we do? Look! She pointed to the small carnival game stand that had been set up off to the side of the festival. She quickly pulled me towards our small air rifle game. The man running the stand turned and looked at me. Howdy, buddy. Hit all the targets and you can win a stuffed rabbit for your girlfriend. She didn't deny the premise. How much? $5. 5? Is there some shortage of stuffed rabbits I didn't read about? It's not about the price of the thing, it's about the valor. The battle-hardened victory that you will win to seize this prize here. You may think this mere stuffed bunny isn't worth $5, but you're wrong. It's more than a stuffed toy. It's a priceless memento of the battle you fought for your lady here. I looked at him with a raised brow. He makes a good point. I opened my wallet. I realized all I had was a $50 and $100 bills. Oh, all I have are 50s. Lyra opened her purse and placed a $10 bill on the table. The man handed me the air rifle. The target started moving, and I fired at the first. I missed. I fired again and again, but only managed to hit one of the targets. Well, your girl here fronted you with 10, so I guess I'll give you another chance. Let me try. I handed her the air rifle. Well then, little missy, let's see what you got. He started up the game again. With her first 3 shots, she hit every target to the center. But I didn't know that was gonna happen. How? You don't aim at the targets, you aim where the target is going. Oh then, mister. Looks like your girlfriend won you a stuffed rabbit. I took the stuffed animal in hand, and Lyra returned the air rifle with a devilish smile on her face. So, you're awfully handy with a rifle. Makes me wonder what else I don't know about you. I grew up in the country. It'd be weirder if I wasn't good with a gun. And considering how many trips you took to a farm, I'm surprised how awful you are with one. Maybe I can give you a private lesson someday. I'll hold you to that. I slipped the stuffed rabbit into my back pocket. She took my hand and led me away from the stand. Come on, let's dance. Dance? Without a word of warning or a moment to acknowledging my cry of protest, she pulled me away. Lyra dragged me toward the plaza where a small band was playing music. She pulled herself closer to my chest and slipped my hand onto her waist. I began to whisper through grit teeth. Lyra, I don't know how to dance. Nonsense. It's easy. She began to lead me back and forth to the soft rhythm of the music. Just listen to the music, and you let your heart do the rest. For the moment, we stood there hand in hand, moving to the sound of the music, and became lost in the fantasy. She pulled herself closer, resting her head on my chest as we motioned back and forth to the melody of the music. Maybe there is a life. Better life after all this. Then she suddenly pulled away. I watched as she threw her arms into the air, laughing as she spun herself to the sound of music. With a large smile on her face, she took my hand and led me back to the town square. What if... I think it'd be funny if you just left immediately. I wonder if they say anything. I might check that after. Lyra stretched out her arms and let out a small yawn. Let's sit down for a bit. I nodded my head, and she led me to the big fountain in the middle of town. We sat down on the edge of the marble, and she let out a long sigh. You okay? Well, it's nice to get away from all the crowds. Well, you don't like crowds, do you? No. I don't know why, but all the noise, all the eyes, being in the center of it all, it always makes me nervous. That's what I like about my job. Most of the time I get to work in peace. You never did tell me what you do. Oh, stop. You're gonna spoil the mood if I have to start in onto office politics. So you have a desk job? She rolled her eyes. Some days I get to be out and about, other days paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. She let out a sigh and dipped her hand into the fountain. Some days I wish I could just give it all up. Then without warning, she flicked her hand on me, splashing a small wave of water from the fountain on me. You're gonna regret that. I scooped up a handful of water. Don't you dare. I splashed a small wave at her, and she let out a small laugh as she tried to dodge it. We went back and forth, splashing each other with water, all the while laughing like we were kids again. And in that moment, I realized how much attention we were drawing on ourselves. I felt a creeping chill of fear grip me as I remembered what she had told me just a moment ago. Everyone was looking at us. But in that moment, Lyra was having too much fun to realize just how many glares we were attracting. Glares? What the fuck? And I never wanted to take that away from her. Okay. I give up. In one final desperate attack, she pulled her arms around me, making sure I absorbed the brunt of her already wet clothes. Hand in hand, we walked back towards the center of town. Luckily, it was a hot summer day. We dried out quickly. What should we do? Okay, I do want to check. Let me go back. Oh, bruh, I can't. Alright, let's go all the way back. No, I can't go back anymore. Fuck. Okay, maybe it's just like... Okay, it's probably nothing special. Whatever. I'm getting a little tired. Maybe we should head out. Where to? You know, I've never actually seen the farm. Well, I've seen it, but I've never been there. I'd like to see what you've been doing all summer. Call it an educational curiosity. You sure? It's just a lot of dirt and manure. Then I'm sure it will be the most education, dirt, and manure I would ever see. What? Then I'm sure it will be the most educational dirt and manure I'll ever see. I'm sure it'll be educational for both of us. Oh, she's a keeper. The sun was starting to set as we approached the farmhouse. So this is the old place. She eyed the patch of dirt Eli and I had dug out just a few weeks ago. I guess the farming took a backseat. I squeezed her hand. I guess I found something a little more important. Come on. She gestured me forward with a tilt of her head. I want to see the inside. It's all so rustic. Makes me miss the old cabin we had by the beach. I can't believe you had all this space to yourself. Where's Eli? I wonder how he's doing. Oh, His bags were here this morning, and his truck wasn't in the driveway. I think he left already. Left? Yeah, he decided he wanted to get out of Somerset. I'm sure wherever he is, he's doing just fine. I guess that means we have the house to ourselves. She walked over to the kitchen table and sat in one of the old chairs. She let out a long yawn, outstretching her arms as she laid her head on the table. I sat down in the chair next to her, and she smiled at me. Today was nice. Thank you, DragonHorseBird. For a day like this, thank you, too, for what you did for me yesterday. I don't know where I would be if you hadn't come and found me. And I owe you more than you can ever understand. She turned and looked up at me, before pulling herself closer and kissing me softly on the lips. I never told anyone about my mom. I kept it to myself, bottled up inside. Today was the first day I felt free. I owe you that, so I'd say we're even. We sat there for a moment in silence, her head resting on my shoulder. Today was the perfect day. She took my hand in her own. I wanted to have a perfect ending. She led me to the bedroom. Yo! Oh, what the fuck? We're skipping so many days. Day 90? Weren't we on like day 9? Day 10? What the fuck? Okay, time skip. I rolled out of bed. I gotta get going. She turned to face me. Have another good day? Let's weed the patch. I spent the next hour pulling out weeds that seemed to spring endlessly in every direction. I remember the first time I did this. At first, the endless weeds were daunting, and the fact that they just reappeared the next day was infuriating. But the more I worked over these months, the more I came to see the weeds as a comforting expectation. The season is almost over. I better clear a new patch for the next season. I started by clearing out the larger shrubs and a few head-sized rocks. I tilled the open area and began to hoe out the holes for the seeds. After a few hours, I had the whole patch tilled out and ready to seed for the future. Better get the ripe fruit ready for delivery. I tore away the heavy, thick stems and pulled the fresh melons into a pile. After getting enough for the day's delivery, I made sure everything was in the truck ready. I hauled the heavy summer melons into the back of my truck. I guess we head into town now. Better start the deliveries for the day. Oh, DragonHorseBird, are you here with the delivery? Yep, last one of the day. Do you need any help loading them in? You're too kind, dear. These old bones aren't what they used to be. No problem. All done? Thank you, dear. Here's your payment for the summer melons. I took the money in hand. Thank you. What do you think you'll plant for the fall? I'm not sure yet. Any suggestions? Pumpkins are always popular with the kids. We could run a special together for the town festival in October. Sounds like a plan. I gotta get back to the farm. Oh, don't let my rambling keep you. While I'm here, I should visit the bank. As I made my way to the front door of the great marble building, I met a familiar face. Ah, DragonHorseBird. Can I help you with something? I'm here with this week's payment on the farm. Ah, of course. I can help you with that. I handed him the cash for this week's deposit. He took the money in hand. The bank would like to thank you for your continued patronage. A few more months, and that small business loan should be paid off. A few more months. That would be a day to celebrate for sure. I'll let you get back to work. Yes, thank you. Have a good day. I'll need to start expanding soon. Getting ready for fall. Weeding. Replanting. It's endless. But it's all worth it. When I get to walk through that door, I stepped through the door. She was already home, asleep with her head down on the kitchen table. I took the blanket off the couch and threw it over her shoulders. They work you too hard there. She spoke in a soft, half-awake tone. I wouldn't want it any other way. I get to make a difference. I get to do good. Oh, I think you... No. This isn't right. She never told me... Is this... a dream? Maybe. But even so... I wonder if we could stay like this forward. On this farm. We could make it into a real home. I wonder if we could find a new life here. A better life. But is this real? Could this be anything more than a dream? Sometimes all you need is a dream. Look at everything we have here. What more could you need? Oh wait, is this actually a dream? Oh fuck. Okay, hold on. I think this is actually a big choice. Let's do this. Oh yeah, there's this option of like either telling him or not telling him. So this is probably like the endings. I'm gonna stay in the dream. So we stay here in this dream. Even if it may be a lie. It is one so sweet. But then again, so easy it is to drink down sweet lies. Then choke on painful truths. Okay. I like this ending. Alright, I'll let this play out. Interesting. I'm guessing the truer ending is when I wake up and see whatever the hell happens. So I'm assuming it's not good if it's what like this is alluding to. So I guess we'll see. I'll leave my full thoughts on what I think about this game for when I'm completely done. From everyone at 52.6 Productions. Alright. But it's not real. Don't you care about that? What? It just closed my game. It just closed my game. I didn't do anything, it just closed it. Okay. I guess we go back. Alright, we're back. I do want to test something before we continue. I want to see what happens when I don't tell him. Telling him the truth might make it worse. Fuck. Telling him the truth might be worse than what he's already feeling. It would be kinder to tell him nothing. Oh, was that it? Just nothing else? Okay. So let's load this. So now we just leave the dream? Oh, damn. We were in day 9. I thought so. I was rocked awake and shot up in an instant. I was in my bedroom. That dream. Then everything came back to me. The festival in town. Coming back here with Lyra. Lyra? She's gone? The impression in the bed where she had lain just an hour ago was all that remained. What was that? That came from the garage. I threw on my clothes and made for the garage. Eli? What's going on? Then I saw her. Lyra was standing against the shelf, holding her head as a thin layer of blood trickled down from her head. Just feet away, Eli was holding the broken half of a glass flask in his hand. On the floor, next to Lyra's purse, was a small handgun. I went for the gun in an instant. What the fuck is going on here? I turned the gun towards Eli. You stay the fuck away from her, Eli. Wait. You don't understand. Look around. Lyra, you okay? Look around, you idiot. She knows. I turned towards the large plastic trash bags that I had filled with all our old chemistry equipment. They had all been opened, and some of their contents spilled around the room. Look in your purse. Shut up! I'm not falling for it. Do it! I eyed the handbag on the ground and kept the gun trailed on him as I picked up the bag. I found it almost instantly. A silver badge with the letters DDE in big embroidered letters. I read the words over and over, hoping somehow they would change. Department of Drug Enforcement. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh boy. Below it was an identification card, and clear as day was an image of her face, with the words, Special Agent. She's a fucking narc! What do you think happened? She pulled her gun on me. No. Lyra. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you sooner. I'm sorry, I didn't do this on purpose. Please believe me, it wasn't on purpose. But I had to check. That part of my mind. That part that doesn't let things be good. Shoot her! No! She's a fucking fed, you idiot. There's no way we walk away from this that doesn't end with her in a hole. Say it again! I'll kill you! I turned to face her. I could tell. She could see the desperation in my eyes. She was fearless. Please. Lyra, we could... He's... right. DragonHorseBird, just promise me. Whatever happens, you'll learn to live. Do what you have to do. I turned back to her. What? What? No way, bro. Okay, this is definitely a save right here. What? Okay, what do I do? I'm going to assume shooting her is a bad ending. That's usually what happens. And I'm going to assume not shooting her can lead to them talking it out and having something else happen. That's what I'm assuming. And that's what I'm gonna stick with. So I'm gonna shoot her first. Just to get the quote-unquote bad ending first. I don't know if that's a bad ending. I'm just assuming. I don't know anything about this game. So, we'll see. I'm sorry. I really am a coward. Even now at the end, I still can't say those words. I looked away. I'm sorry. I reached out and held her face. I think I started to scream. I know I wanted to fuck. I know I started to cry. But everything else was lost into the dull haze of rage. In the end, I guess the old man's tools had some use after all. It all makes sense. Where you begin and where you ended. Your mom and the path you chose in life. I guess I never did apologize for all those years ago. Because in the end, you always were the one who paid the price. Lyra, for everything, but more than anything, I regret never telling you. The dull haze, the acrid smell, a floor soaked wet with chemicals. Hopefully it will be quick. One big fireball, maybe in another life. I'll get to tell her to her face. I'm sorry. What? That's the end? Wait, does he shoot Eli as well? Oh, fuck. I'm assuming he shoots Eli because Eli's not there to talk. It's just him. Or I guess it's just me. I'm not gonna claim it's me. I don't want it to be me anymore. I don't want to be in a part of the story. I want to change my name. Fuck, dude. From everyone at 52.6 Productions. Don't close my game. Oh my god. Dog, it keeps closing my game. Stop doing that. Alright, so let's go back to here. And then we don't shoot her. I can't do it. I dropped the gun and it hit the ground with a small metal tang. I can't do it. Arrest me. I'll confess everything. But I can never hurt you. Not again. Never again. I heard him go for it. He dropped the gun, and with a metallic clunk, it landed just a few feet away. I reached out and held her face. I think I started to scream. Is it the same thing? I know I started to cry, but everything else was lost in a dull haze of rage. Oh wait, shit. Not a save. What do I need to pick up the gun for? Am I gonna shoot Eli? I guess pick it up. It was just feet from my hand. I went for it. Wait! Oh fuck, we just shoot him, okay. And he hit the ground. Oh my god, and we just end up burying them. What the fuck? Okay, I'm not reading this again. Just a fast explosion. Okay, that was kind of funny actually. Alright, let's go here and leave it. Eli ran for it, looking like he was about to puke. I heard the slam of a door, and then the revving of his truck as he sped away. There's no way. Are you dead ass? Oh wait. Okay. Let me start reading from here. I didn't know there was more. I thought it was just gonna end like that. Hopefully it will be quick. One big fireball. Maybe in another life, I'll get to tell her to her face. So now we have the choice of dropping the match or blowing it out. Another save. Well, if we drop the match, we're just gonna kill ourselves again. So I don't think it really fucking matters. I'll do it again, just because it's funny. I'm sorry. And then we just blow it out. I'm sorry. My hand began to shudder. I watched the flicker of the flame as it began to eat down the wooden shaft of the match. Why can't I do it? Cowardice? Or is it something else? Lyra, I remember. It took me so many years to realize that hating yourself doesn't make the pain go away. You have to learn to forgive yourself. Is that why? Is that what you would want? Can I really be forgiven, even for this? I have to find reasons to keep living. Otherwise, it all really would have been for nothing. Wait, is that all the endings? So, okay. So Lyra just dies in all the endings except for the dream one. What? Damn, Lyra gets murked in all the endings basically. It's fucking crazy, bro. Oh, there's more. Oh. Oh. It was just, okay, it was just a picture. I thought there was more. Wait. Oh yeah, it's just it. Okay. I guess here's time to give my thoughts, because I don't know if there's anything else for me to do. I think I've done all the options, so I'm assuming those are all the endings. Okay, thoughts. I thought this game was... It was okay. I think it was very strange that out of nowhere we just decided to start cooking meth. Like, I don't know where that came from. That was just out of nowhere. I get that I was a chemistry student, but I think that was just put in there just to kind of make it sort of understanding why I already knew how to make meth, basically. Despite the fact that they don't teach you that in school. I know that, because I have friends who know chemistry. They don't teach you how to make meth in school. So the fact that he knew that is insane. It's pretty nuts. What else? A big complaint I had was the dialogue. I think somebody forgot to proofread a lot of the dialogue, and it was kind of just rushed, if anything. Or it was just it was like a translation issue, or something like that. Because there were like spaces where they put the wrong your or the wrong there, or they needed like a comma, or even just like a period. There was just a lot of there was a lot of grammatical mistakes, and I myself, I really like proper grammar because that just helps me speak better. It helps me understand whatever the fuck someone is trying to say. And in situations like this, where it's a visual novel, a game all about reading, it really bothers me. So that's a pretty big complaint that I have here. However, it progressively got better as it continued the game. Like, there were less and less mistakes as I was getting towards the end, which is kind of nice. So I'm assuming the beginning was kind of just like rushed or something, or it was something that that wasn't really looked over. Either way, it was an issue in the beginning. Towards the end, I didn't really experience it that much, or I just got used to it. But that is something I have to complain about. Other than that, the visuals were pretty nice. The character designs are not too bad. I think they were pretty good. I think my one question is why the hell Eli is wearing a black jacket when it's summer. That's kind of my question. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was designed before the name of the game came out. Or it was like, I don't know. It's such a weird character design choice. Because this is meant to be summer. But why would you wear black in the summer? Especially a black, I'm assuming, a leather jacket. Which is probably the hottest thing you could fucking wear. Besides like a winter jacket. Or some shit like that. What else? In terms of story progression, I think, I don't know. It's a little bit messy, I think. Because at first I was like, why the hell are we doing a meth operation? You know? This seemed like a nice game. Like a nice, wholesome game. But then all of a sudden we're just making meth. And we're getting kidnapped to making meth. And it kind of reminded me of that that one Breaking Bad scene. Like when our main character was like he was drying off the iodine balls and asking the guy to like crush it. It reminded me of the scene where Walter White was like, I think he was also in the same exact situation where he was trapped. Like held hostage to cook what I'm assuming is also meth. And he basically escaped in a similar fashion, except he like did like a homemade flashbang or something, and trapped the two guys that were kidnapping him into the RV. And then, but in this situation, basically I just blew them up. So this is completely dead. That maybe was an inspiration for that scene, because it was pretty similar. But then after that, we just go straight to like a wholesome slice of life, where we're just hanging out with Lyra at the summer festival. It's like, okay, switching tone now, I guess. And then all of a sudden we go to Lyra being a cop, and Eli's just back for some reason. And I thought he was out of town, so I don't know why he was back. And then she just dies in all the endings except for the dream ending, which is not even real. So I don't know. It was just really strange in terms of like what was going on. It just kind of seemed all over the place, if anything. That's why I'm saying this game kind of felt like a school project. Just, I don't know, it's a bit strange. What else? I think the music is pretty good. Kind of set the tone. Normally I don't have complaints about the music or even like the art style and such, because that usually is a big factor in these games, besides the writing and the story itself. Because I mean, those are like two big things that kind of impact the way the story's going, because you need visuals to show what's going on, then you need music to set a tone. And I don't think any of those were a problem here. I like the character designs, except my one gripe of Eli's jacket. It's kind of a weird choice in my opinion. The backgrounds are nice, the music pretty good, I think. I like the selections. One of them I actually might use in like my background tracks for other videos or something, because I've been doing that with some other visual novels. I'm understanding the name of the title now, A Warmer Shade of Summer, because he blows up the fucking house. I don't know. I saw in the reviews beforehand that this game had multiple endings, and then also the fact that if you don't like a game if you like games with happy endings, this is not one of them. That's from what I read. I was just thinking that the whole time. I was like, okay, maybe that's a bit of a clickbait. Maybe they're lying. Nah. Nah, it did not go that way. Let's see. I guess we'll start with the rating. If I were to rate this game, it'd probably be a 6.
Okay.
I don't have like a decimal for this one. I'm just gonna say a 6 because that's the first number that came to mind. I think there are definitely improvements that could be made here. Obviously number 1 for me would be the freaking proofreading. I'm a big person on grammar, so if something has improper grammar and it's meant to be like professional or even just somewhat serious, it's gonna bother me. And this is definitely an issue on my part. But also just the fact that I wasn't sure what exactly was going on with the story after we started cooking meth. I was just confused, if anything, because I don't know why the story pivoted to that so hard. Really weird. Especially given, like, I don't know. This game just gives off a wholesome mood. But then all of a sudden we're just doing that, you know? Really, really strange, if anything. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I guess thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back for episode 2. And again, this is a very interesting start to the series. First episode, we're talking about serial killing. And then second episode, we're cooking meth. So, I don't know what to expect from the next game, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should be worried, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. But, yeah. Thank you for tuning into this episode. It's definitely going to be shorter than the first one because I'm looking at the recording now. We're only at 3.5 hours, so an hour less than the previous one. Yay. But yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you join back for the next one. And once again, if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments. Let me know if you have something that you really want to see me play, and I'll add it to the wheel. And hopefully it gets picked. If not, then you always have another chance next week. So, thank you very much. Thank you for watching, sticking it all the way through, and I'll see you in the next one.